This is grade 12 mathematics Ethiopian University entrance examination in English, part 11, presented to you by Omar Adam. In our previous video, we have seen some of the most important questions from Unit 2 of grade 12 mathematics. Now let us proceed from where we stopped last time. Here, question number 5. It says, what is the equation of a second line to the graph of a function f of x is equal to x squared plus 1 over the interval from 1 up to 3? That is what the question says. Let us see how to find the equation of a second line. A second line means it is a line, a straight line, that intersects the graph of a given function at 2 points. That is what we call a second line. In our previous video, we have seen two kinds of line. One is a tangent line and the other is a secant line. A tangent line is a line that touches the graph of a given function at exactly 1 point, whereas a secant line is a line which intersects the graph at 2 points or even more. Now let us find a second line which is passing through the graph of this one in the interval from 1 up to 3. Here we know that the equation of a line can be obtained as follows. There are 3 methods to find the equation of a straight line. One is slope-intercept form of the equation of the line, which means given the y-intercept and the slope, we can find the equation of a line. And also the second one is point-slope form of the equation of the line. If we can get 1 point on the line, or we pick 1 point on the line having the slope, then we can find the equation of that particular line. And the third method is 2-point form of the equation of the line. Given 2 points, we can find the equation of the line. Whatever it is, if we pick any 2 points on the line, then we can find the equation of that particular line. Now let us proceed. Here, as you can see here, the equation of this second line can be found as follows. What we have to do is find the 2 points on this interval, which lies on the function, which lies on this function. First, what you have to do is find f of 1. What is f of 1? When our x is equal to 1, then f of 1 is going to be 1 squared plus 1. Simply replace x by 1. 1 squared plus 1, which becomes 2. And also f of 3. This is 2, which means we have this point on the graph of that function, 1 and here 2. The value of y is 2 and the value of x is 1. And also, what is f of 3? F of 3 is also equal to 3 squared, replace x by 3 in the given function. 3 squared, which is 9. 9 plus 1, which is also the sum of the 2 is 10. And we have 10 here. We have 10. And then, make it 10, please. Okay, now, as a result of this one, we have this point also. 3 and 10. Make it comma here. The value of y is 10. Using 2-point form of the equation of the line, we can simply find the equation of that second line, which means we can obtain, using these 2 points, the slope of the second line as such here, where m is equal to slope, and this is equal to average rate of change that we have already said. M is equal to f of 3 minus f of 1 over 3 minus 1. This is the interval. Our x runs from 1 up to 3, and the value of change in y, this is change in y over change in x, which gives us the slope. And here, since our f of 3 is equal to 10, 10 minus 2 over 3 minus 1 means it is 2. And then 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2, it is exactly 4. That is the slope. The slope is 4. And therefore, now use either of these 2 points. Suppose we use this first point. What you have to do is take any point x and y on the function f of x, and then from y subtract the value of this point, which is corresponding to y. 2 is equal to, write the slope, which is 4. There is a problem here. My laptop is actually busy, which is why. Here again, put in the bracket x minus, subtract from x the value of the first coordinate here, 1. Since we use the first point, once we find the slope, then apply point slope form of the equation of the line. You can do 2-point form of the equation of the line like this one as such, or point slope form of the equation of the line. And then multiply 4 by x, it becomes as follows. Here we have y minus 2 is equal to 4 into x minus 1, which becomes 4 times x is equal to 4x minus 4 times 1 is 4. Therefore, we have 4x minus 4. Move this minus 2 to the right. It becomes plus 2. Therefore, y is equal to 4x minus 2 is the required second equation of the second line. And therefore, since we have found y is equal to 4x minus 2, the answer is going to be A. This is question number 5. Now let us see the next question. The next question says as follows. What is the gradient of the tangent line to the graph of f of x is equal to x times the cubed root of x at x is equal to 8? That is what the question says. Now, what is gradient? What do you mean by gradient? Gradient of a line means it is simply the slope of a line. Gradient is always equal to the slope of the tangent line, as we have already seen, is equal to the derivative of the function, the derivative of this function at x is equal to 8, and therefore the gradient, which is actually the slope of the tangent line, can be written as follows. This is the slope. Let us call it m. M is equal to f prime of, at x is equal to 8, we have f prime of 8. If we can find the derivative of this function and calculated the value of the derivative at x is equal to 8, then that is the gradient of the tangent line. That's the gradient. Now let us begin. Let us derive this function f of x. Since our f of x is equal to x, the cube root of x, we need to apply either the product rule of derivative or rewrite this function as such. We need to rewrite this function as f of x is equal to x times, here the third root of x means it can be changed into exponent form. X the power of 1 over 3. We can remove the radical as such. Then the product of these two x, take one of the base only, since x can be written as x to the power of 1, then add the exponent. By the rule of exponent, we can write x to the power of 1 plus 1 over 3. 1 over 3. The sum of the two also gives us 4 over 3. Add 1 plus 1 over 3 means multiply 3 by 1. We have 3. 3 add 3 to 1, which is 4. Therefore, the function can be rewritten as x to the power of, our f of x can be written as here, x to the power of 4 over 3. 4 over 3. Now, apply the rule of derivative. Apply the rule of derivative. Instead of derivating this using the product rule of derivatives, it is better to derivate this function. It is better to derivate. Now, I have already done this thing. Here, we rewrite the function as such, x to the power of 4 over 3. It becomes like that. And then bring 4 over 3 here. 4 over 3, multiply 4 over 3 by this x, by x, and then subtract from 4 over 3 1, which means 4 over 3 times x to the power of 4 over 3 minus 1. And the result will be f prime of x, the derivative of the function at x, will be 4 over 3 x to the power of 1 over 3. 4 over 3 minus 1 means it is 1 over 3, and therefore now find the value of this derivative at x is equal to 8. F prime of 8 means 4 over 3 into 8 to the power of 1 over 3. 8 to the power of 1 over 3, since we can write 8 as 2 to the power of 3, 3 cancel 3, then 2 we have the result is going to be 2. Therefore, 4 over 3 times 2 means it is 8 over 3. The gradient of this function at x is equal to 8 is 8 over 3. The gradient of the tangent line. The gradient of the tangent. Therefore, the right answer is equal to 8 over 3. That is the slope of this tangent line. Suppose if you are asked to find the equation of the tangent line at this one here, the tangent line to the graph of f of x is equal to x times the third root of x at x is equal to 8. If you are asked to find that equation, the equation of the tangent line, once you have the slope, then what you have to do is find the point, one point on the point of tangency on this the graph of this function, which means our f of 8 is equal to x, replace x by 8 into the third root of 8. The third root of 8. The third root of 8 means it is 2. 2 times 8 gives us 16. 1, 6. Therefore, the point of tangency will become 8, the value of x, the first coordinate, and the 16, the second coordinate. Now apply point slope form of the equation of the line. Since we have already obtained the slope or the gradient of the tangent line at this point, then what you have to do is take any arbitrary point xy, and from y subtract 16, the second coordinate, and equate it with this 8 over 3, which is the slope, 8 over 3, into x minus the value of x in the point, the first coordinate, minus 8. by rearranging this equation, you can find the equation of the tangent line as a point of tangency, in case such kind of question appear on your entrance examination. It will help you. Now let us see the next question. Question number 7. It says, what is the derivative of f of x is equal to x squared over the square root of x? Now, to find the derivative, we can also rewrite this function. Instead of applying the quotient rule of derivative, what we have to do is simply write this function as f of x is equal to, here, x squared, the numerator is x squared, and the denominator is radical x can be written as x the power of 1 over 2, x the power of 1 over 2, and therefore you can write like this one here, x the power of minus 1 over radical 2. And then take one of the base, the base is x, then add the exponent, just like this one here. The first thing we have to do is rewrite this function f of x as f of x is equal to x squared over the square root of, the square root of x means it is x the power of 1 over 2, and this is equal to x the power of 2 minus 1 over 2, minus 1 over 2, minus 1 over 2 by the rule of exponent, and then this is exactly equal to x the power of 3 over 2. Now apply the derivative. Apply the derivative. The derivative of x the power of 3 over 2 means f prime of x is equal to 3 over 2 times x the power of 3 over 2 minus 1. And then we have 3 over 2 x the power of 1 over 2. 3 over 2 minus 1 means it is 1 over 2. And therefore, either this one is the answer, if it is actually in our choice, in multiple choice. Since this does not exist, then we have f prime of x is equal to 3 over 2. X the power of 1 over 2 can be rewritten as the square root of x. And therefore, the answer is A is the answer. So far, we have just seen very introductory introduction of integration, and therefore they are very simple. Now we will see more complex examples. Here is example number 8. It says, let f of x is equal to the square root of 4x plus 1. Then, what is the value of f prime of 2? That is what the question says. What is f prime of 2? Now, to find the derivative, the first thing you have to do is find the derivative of this function. Derivate this function. Here, let me tell you one simple way to do that. Always, given that f of x, the square root of x, suppose f of x is equal to the square root of x is given. The square root of x as such is given. Then f prime of x, put it like this one, f prime of x is equal to, change this one in exponent form and then derivate, apply the derivative. It becomes 1 over 2 times the square root of x. Now, let us come back to our original question. The first thing we have to do is derivate this one. Derivate the radical. The radical will become as such. F prime of x becomes, first derivate the radical, which means it is exactly equal to 1 over 2 times the square root of, irrespective of what is under the square root of. Here, write down this one as it is. then apply the chain rule. Apply the chain rule. 4x plus 1. Write whatever inside of the square root first, and then derivate the expression inside the square root, which means derivate this one. This is known as chain rule. It is called the chain rule. Then derivate this one. It is written as a composition of a function. Composition of a function. Then simply derivate this one. What's the derivative of 4x plus 1? Since this is a linear function, then the derivative of x is 1. 1 multiplied by 4, it is 4. And the derivative of this constant value is simply 0. And therefore, we have 4 over this expression. 4 over this expression, the denominator. The denominator. Let us see. Just to save the time, let us see the one I have already done. Here, f prime of x is equal to 1 over 2 times the square root of 4x plus 1 multiplied by chain rule, then derivate what is inside or under the square root, which becomes 4x plus 1 prime. And then the derivative of 4x plus 1 is simply 4, and then we have 4 over 2 the square root of 4x plus 1. Then divide or cancel 4 by 2, which becomes 2. 2 over the square root of 4x plus 1 is the derivative of that given function, the derivative of this function. Then evaluate the value of the derivative at x is equal to 2. It becomes f prime of 2, which is equal to 2 over, here under the radical we have 4 times 2, replace x by 2, add the result with 1, and then it becomes 2 over the square root of 9. Since 9 is a perfect square, it will become like this one, 2 over 3. Therefore, now the answer is D. If you do this one, then you have get the point. Let us see the next question. Question number 9. It is the simplest but very tricky question. Question number 9 is very simple but tricky question. Here, given y is equal to, in bracket, pi plus 2 the whole cubed, the whole or the power of 3, pi plus 2 cubed. Then what is dy by dx, which means the derivative of y with respect to x. If you simply quickly apply the rule of derivative, look at this one. Let me show you. F given f of x, as we have already said, for the power function, f of x is equal to x is the power of n. We say already the derivative of this function, this is known as a power function, the derivative will become like this one. F prime of x is equal to n times, this is exactly equal to n times x the power of n minus 1. That is the derivative of f of x is equal to x the power of n. Then if you apply this formula and immediately do as such, just multiply 3 by this one, pi plus 2 the power of 3 minus 1, then that is going to be the wrong answer. That's going to be the wrong answer. As you can see, y is independent of x here. There is no x here. Then y is a constant number. It is a constant number. Since the derivative of any constant number is simply 0, then dy by dx must be 0, which means dy, there is no x in this equation, and therefore what you have to do is dy by dx immediately. Since y is constant, then put it 0, exactly 0, because y is independent of x. It is independent. There is no x in our expression. Therefore, the simplest answer is equal to 0. But there are students, some students who can apply this formula here, the derivative formula, on a constant number. But that is mistake. Okay, let us turn to the next question. Question number 11 says, the relative maximum and minimum values of f of x is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared are respectively dash and dash. That is what the question says. Here, what do you mean by relative maximum or relative minimum? Relative maximum, there are two kinds of extremum values. One, relative extremum values. Two, absolute extremum values. What do you mean by relative extremum value? Suppose we have the graph of a certain function. Suppose we have the graph like this one. And again, let us put here a value b called b. Let us put here on the x-axis. Suppose this function is continuous in the interval a up to b. If it stops here, if we stop in this interval, then f of b is going to be absolute maximum value, and f of a is going to be absolute minimum value. But the maximum here, the maximum point here, and the minimum point here in the interval a up to b are said to be relative maximum or relative minimum. The one in between a and the b are said to be relative maximum or relative minimum. Sometimes we can call them local maximum and local minimum. That is the concept of relative extrema. Now, the relative extrema of a function can be obtained at the critical point. Here, at the critical point means where the slope of the tangent line becomes 0. Suppose this is the minimum, relative minimum. At this point, since the tangent line is horizontal and its slope becomes 0, then the derivative of the function at this point will become 0. Exactly, it is equal to 0. Therefore, we say x in this case, after a certain calculation, if we can find the value of x, that value of x is said to be critical numbers. Critical numbers. We call them critical numbers. Therefore, to find the relative maxima or relative minima, what we have to do is just derive this function and find the critical numbers if it exists, and then compare the value of the function at those critical numbers, which gives us the maximum or minimum, just like this one. Now, to save time, I have already solved this problem. Here, note, relative extrema value of a function can be obtained at critical numbers, and then given f of x is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared, what we have to do is derive this function, which becomes f prime of x is equal to 3x squared minus 6, and then equate it with 0, since the slope at the relative maxima or relative minima becomes 0. The slope of the tangent line becomes 0. Therefore, here, then common out here, 3x. 3x is common for both here, for 6x and the 3x squared. Then common out 3x. What is left is here we have x minus 2. Then this is equal to 0. Either 3x is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Then from this one we have x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 2. These two numbers, 0 and 2, are the only critical numbers that we have get on this function. Therefore, there are two relative extrema for this function. What are those? Let us see here. F, what is f of 0? What is the value of the function at this critical number? F of 0 is equal to 0. Simply 0 cubed minus 3 times 0 squared means it is 0. And f of 2 means 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared, which becomes 8 minus 12 and then minus 4. Therefore, the maximum value in this case, the relative maximum value is 0, and the relative minimum value in this case is minus 4. These two maximum and minimum value were obtained at 0 and 2, which are considered to be the critical number. And therefore, where is the answer? Let us see. The answer is 0. At 0 we have maximum value, and at 2 we have minimum value. Therefore, the maximum value is obtained here 0, and the minimum is minus 4. That is the answer. Let us see final question. Actually here, let us see these two final examples. Question number 12. It says, if a function here, if a function f of x is equal to 1 over 3 x cubed minus kx squared plus 1, where k is constant, has a relative minimum value at x is equal to 4, then the value of k is equal to, that is what the question asks us. Here we have been told here, this function has a relative minimum value at x is equal to 4. Therefore, x is equal to 4 must be a critical number. A critical number. The derivative of the function at this critical number must be equal to 0. It must be equal to 0. Therefore, what you have to do is differentiate this one, then find the value of the derivative of this function at x is equal to 4. Here we have done it here. Here x is equal to 4 is critical number. F prime of x becomes, the derivative of this function is 1 over 3 into 1 over 3, that is the coefficient, the first coefficient. Then the derivative of x cubed becomes 3x squared minus the derivative of this one, x squared, is 2x, and therefore 2x multiplied by k minus 2kx. The derivative of the constant, which is 1, is 0. The derivative of this constant number is 0, and therefore here we have 3 cancel 3, x squared minus 2kx is equal to 0. Since our x is equal to 4, then replace x by 4. 4 squared minus 2k times 4, it becomes 16 is equal to 8k. Then divide both sides by 8, k is going to be 2. Therefore, the answer is A. A is going to be the answer. And the last question is, here is what it says. What is the interval on which f of x is equal to x cubed plus 6x squared is increasing? We say here, suppose that f is continuous on an interval I. Suppose f is continuous. Suppose f is a continuous function on an interval I. Let us abbreviate like this one. Continuous on I. On I. This is interval on which f is continuous. Then the derivative test tells us if f prime of x is greater than or equal to 0, if f prime of x is greater than or equal to 0, for every x in this interval in I, for every x in I, then we say f is an increasing function. F is increasing function on I. Also, if f prime of x is less than or equal to 0, then f is decreasing on I. We say. Then, now let us see how to find. We have already solved it here. Our f of x is equal to x cubed plus 6x squared. We are going to determine the interval on which this function is increasing. Note that if f prime of x is greater than or equal to 0 for all x in the interval I, then f of x is said to be an increasing function on I, and therefore derive this function 3x squared plus 12x greater than or equal to 0. And then we can rewrite this one as 3x into x plus 4. There are two ways to find the solution set for these inequalities, either by applying step-by-step solving of inequalities, or just use the sign chart. First, find the critical numbers. Find the two critical numbers. Now find the critical number. 3x, either this one is equal to 0. Find the number which makes this value 0 is simply 0 itself. Here write as such. First, what makes this expression 0? Minus 4 here. Write minus 4. And also, what number makes this expression 3x 0? It is 0 itself. Therefore, write 0 here in an increasing order. Actually, this is known as sign chart. We call it sign chart to find the inequalities. This is the easiest way. And then put x plus 4 here. X plus 4 here. And also put 3x or whatever, simply x right here. 3x. Any number which is less than minus 4 makes x plus 4 negative. Any number which is less than minus 4 makes this expression x plus 4 negative. Right? Put negative there. Any number which is greater than minus 4 makes x plus 4 positive. And then write positive here and positive here. And as you know, any number which is less than 0 is negative, and then put negative here. But any number which is greater than 0 is positive. And then multiply these signs. Negative times negative gives us positive here. And positive times negative, it is negative. And the positive times positive, it becomes positive. Therefore, f prime of x is greater than or equal to 0 for this interval from negative infinity up to minus 4, and also from 0 up to positive infinity. And therefore, this is the interval on which f prime of x is greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, this interval is considered the interval on which this function f of x is increasing. Now let us see the case by case solving of this inequality. Case number 1. For these two expressions, for the product of the two expressions to be greater than or equal to 0, first 3x must be equal to greater than or equal to 0, and also x plus 4 must be greater than or equal to 0. Either both expressions are positive or both at the same time are negative. That is the only way. If they do have opposite sign, then the inequality will change to the left. And therefore, from this one, we have x greater than or equal to 0 and x greater than or equal to minus 4. This is a conjunction. We use conjunction here. And so the intersection of these two sets is equal to x such that x is greater than or equal to 0. Now the next step, or is going to be now the conjunction. The conjunction, the connectives of the two cases is now or. Here we have 3x less than or equal to 0 and x plus 4 less than or equal to 0. This implies x is less than or equal to 0 and x is less than or equal to minus 4. So the intersection of these two sets is x less than or equal to 4. Then connect this solution here, this interval, and this interval by or, which is going to be x such that x less than or equal to minus 4, or x greater than or equal to 0. This is one of the answer. It can be now, since the answer is given in terms of interval, then we leave this set builder method. It is called set builder method. Any set that can be expressed as such is known as set builder method, and then convert this one in an interval form, which becomes from negative infinity up to -4, closed, union, again closed interval from 0 up to positive infinity, half closed actually. This is half closed. Therefore, the answer is B, as you can see here. B is the answer. That's it. Now, I have a certain message for you. If you like this video, please don't hesitate to subscribe. And moreover, if you like others to watch this video, please share it. And also, I value your comments. Give me your comments. That's the end. Have a good time. See you in the next video. Bye bye.